We're going to demonstrate the Alchemize playbook for migrating a SQL Server instance of a database to DB2. The business scenario is a customer is doing a cloud migration. Their on-premise database is SQL Server. Their landing database in the cloud is going to be a DB2 database. At this point, they've already delivered the database. We have stood the database up on our server, and we've actually made the connections within Alchemize to those databases. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a project for it. Add that new project. I'm going to call it SQL Server to DB2 Maximo. Save that. We're going to go ahead, we're going to establish the relationship between the project and the repositories. And we'll say SQL Server is our source. We'll add another repository, and that will be the, we don't want the Hansen, we want the DB2 Maximo. The Hansen is for another demo target, and we'll save that. We'll come back to our project management, right click on that, and we'll choose our Replatforming Wizard. He already knows the source and the target because they're the only ones attached to this repository or to this project. We'll kick off the wizard. And it is run row counts on all 1200 tables. It has confirmed that tables are missing on the target system, and it knows what we're going to do now. For the sake of brevity, we're just going to move one group of tables. We'll move all of the asset tables. Now we see there's a bunch of here with no data. Again, for the sake of brevity, we're not going to play with the ones that have no data. We're going to select all of these, and we know that we don't want this one or this one because there's no point in migrating those until there's a couple of other tables migrated. That's just knowing this particular product. So now we have these tables we're going to move. First step is to create a landing place, synchronize database structures. All right, now it's creating these database tables and any indexes that go on them so that our landing platform matches our source platform. As we can see now, we've got these particular tables that we've got. We've built them, but the rows don't match. Let's create our job. I'm just going to call this asset as a prefix and create the job. Now those jobs are created. Over to our jobs screen. See, we have that job there, and we will just run it right now. Now let's take a look. We've got 10 errors and 29 warnings. Let's take a look at our errors first. Okay, those errors are row stamp, row stamp, row stamp. Those are all row stamp. Well, knowing Maximo, that's a little bit of, the row stamp is a little bit of a weird thing, so we know we have to handle that specially. So we'll go to our transformation workspace. We're going to filter down to our target attributes on all of the targets, and we're just going to pick all the row stamp. We're going to select everything. We're going to say apply a transformation. So we want to apply this transformation to all of them. And we have a number of transformations built into our library. We're going to pick the current timestamp just for convenience sake. since we are dropping that into a date time, and we will save that. Let's come back to our jobs, and we will launch. Now it still shows those 10 errors, but we took care of them. We're good. And now we have 29 warnings, and those are all date time to date time 2. So what that is about is there's a difference in precision between the date time type in SQL Server and the date time type in DB2 that is being used. So we're good with that. Let's hit launch. Come back over to our dashboard to see what's happening. And they're finished, approximately 500,000 rows. Let that screen refresh. About 500,000 rows in about 14 seconds. And if we come back to our sheet here, we'll see two things. Let's refresh the tables first. See all those tables. Now we can see that we have count of assets, and we have the asset history. So we actually do have all of those rows out there. And we can come back to our project, Replatforming Wizard, and we can rerun that so we have a new revision on it. There we are. Now we see we have the same number of rows on all of those tables that we had said we were going to migrate.